Well, welcome back, and I'm glad to be back as well. It's been a bit of a journey. I've been doing a lot of changes in my life, like I think so many people are right now. Changing locations, housing, changing jobs. There is a lot of change going on in not only in our personal life, but in the world itself. So, and we made it through quote, quote, Independence Day, which triggered a lot of stuff for our governmental things. So it's been a time that I feel that talking about what we're going to do today is germane. It serves the purpose. One of the things is the title for this particular YouTube is Seeing with Your Heart. Now, that may sound easy, but it is not, so we'll go through some stuff about what that is about and what that feels like. Also, this is the time of Cancer, and Cancerian energy is full of moon and lunar energy, and not only from the subconscious realm. So many things we haven't thought about for years are surfacing because of this Cancerian period of time. So what we have is a focus. We have a focus, and the focus is on love, the moon, mother, the home, food, our relationships of the heart, our deeper relationships of the heart. So we're going to talk about that today. So I don't know how many of you still have your mother. I'm showing today this beautiful fan because this was my mother's fan, and I found it when I was doing my move this month, and I thought, oh, this is so beautiful. I'm going to wear it at least through this month and take very good care of it because it's beautiful. It came from Spain. And so I'm wearing my mother's, or taking with me my mother's fan. What's the purpose of all this? Our nurturing, our core nurturing comes from someone who can nurture us like a mother. Sometimes that is a man or a father. Sometimes it's an auntie. Sometimes it's a grandmother. But the nurturance that we all are longing for right now, and the sense of home and the sense of love and the sense of belonging is so strong right now. So we're tender-hearted, we're emotional, we'll cry at a moment's notice, and not even know why we're shedding tears. And most of all of that's fine, actually, because as we shed our tears, it also cleanses our hearts. So our hearts are very tender right now. So I'd like to talk about how we can actually see through our heart. Use our eyes and direct them directly through the heart, and what a difference that makes in our lives. What a difference it makes in terms of how we see others. In the first place, we're more gentle when we see through the heart. We use less words. We see what's really going on rather than intellectually interpreting it. We actually see the emotional basis for which someone is even communicating. Sometimes our words do not say what we feel. Have you noticed that? So we were taught to talk in head languages. I think this, or I see that this is this way, or I see that this is that way. When we start using that kind of language, we're coming from our belief systems and from our head. And the interpretations we get are most amazing. I did some traveling, a little bit of traveling before I did this video, and I was noticing the two lovely people I was with, one would say something and the other would interpret it sometimes a totally different way. Some of you experienced that, I'm sure. So if we hear, see, particularly see, stop that moment and look and drop into our hearts when someone's speaking, we might get a more accurate interpretation. The words may not match, and that can be confusing, but the heart does. And the heart is where we want to spend our time and resonate from. And the reason for that is because the energy that's being produced right now on the planet is from the vibrational frequency of our lunar mother, our moon. And the moon is the root. It's the beginning. It's the birthing. It's the water within our bodies. It's that energy that arranges for the tides and for the cycles that are going on the planet, including cycles of pregnancy and cycles of moods. And it was really interesting. I want to put this out here because I just heard it again, and that is, and it doesn't seem like it correlates, but it really does. It takes about 3 days, roughly 2.5 days, for the moon to cycle from one sign into another sign. We also have a cycle that's called a 3-day cycle. It's quite interesting. The 3-day cycle has to do with the fact that a human can actually live 3 days without water. I'm not sure in Arizona, however, but 3 days without water. We have three days that if we need food, we can go 3 days without food, and sometimes longer, depending on the nourishments of the food. 3 also relates to the cycle, the emotional cycle of an event. It takes almost 3 days to recover from an explosive internal emotional event, for us to actually get our senses back again so we can see what's really going on. When someone's had a surgery or they're ill, we know within 3 days whether that person's going to be okay. The 3-day rule is so fascinating. So it can serve us in so many ways. So that means also if, say for instance, you had an experience and the experience is over, but you're still feeling the emotions of it a day later, or maybe even 2 days later. Remember, you're still clearing the emotions or the thought forms even of that particular event. So keep in mind the 3-day rule. Now, as the moon circles, it changes into a different sign each time. It's changeable. Riding the cycle of the moon is quite extraordinary. You wonder why one day you were just fine and then the next day you just, you feel restless or you feel upset. Well, the moon has changed into another sign, into another rulership, into another planetary rulership. So that's why astrology is so amazing. Now, we're going to also, and I meant to mention this at the beginning of it, but we are also doing a 4-week class starting next week on astrological sexuality and showing the cycles of sexuality, but also what each sign, how each sign relates to in their own inner state to the feeling of oneness and having sexual energy and moving through your body. So that should be pretty interesting. This class is going to be seen over video live, or you can you can show up at the class if you're in the area. So please sign up if you wish. You can look further down and see what all the information is and what you need to do that. should be quite fascinating. And one of the reasons I chose to do it during this period of time is because this is about the womb. The moon is like the womb. It's where the beginning of all life starts. It started in water, we're told. So in the fluids on the planet and the fluids in our bodies. So those of you interested in that, come join us. All right, one of the things that I'd like to talk about is we're in a cycle now where if we do not start seeing things in a different way and make different choices, some years back I decided to do a series of t-shirts, and I did some sayings. So this last weekend I wore one of my own t-shirts, and this is what it said: rejection or redirection, your choice. I thought that was quite powerful, because there's so much we have to redirect right now rather than go into the trigger of what's going on, rather than be stunted by it and stopped by it and waste beautiful, loving time with people that we love, and also affect our bodies when we decide to make a trigger out of it rather than to redirect it and see what's really going on. Now that's possible when we see with our eyes. We see and feel with our eyes. So I thought it might be fun to look at some possibilities. All right. So here we are, we're with a loved one, and they say to us, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. And you say to them, you go down, and you see them say it, and you go down into your heart and you say, well, what are you feeling? Then the feeling surfaces. Then you can talk about the true feeling, rather than another option is, well, why are you uncomfortable? What's wrong with you? What's going on? Did I upset you? And in comes a whole energy. Ooh, this fan is delightful. A whole energy that comes in and starts a whole direction of stuff that is not valuable or helpful. Let's say also where someone is angry. Let me say, I'm extremely angry at you. And you look at them and you say, okay, with your eyes, you see that they're angry. I see you're angry. And as you see that they're angry, instead of taking it personal, which is a really difficult thing for human beings these days, is taking things personal, instead you go down into your heart and you say, what is it that you're angry about? What can I do? Is there anything I can do? And as that comes through, all of a sudden now it's moving. It's not stuck in a reactive spot. It has movement. When they acknowledge whatever it is that's going on for them, it's very key to realize that what's really going on is something inside of them, something they're working with, something they're responding to or reacting to, mostly reacting, if it's anger, generally, and find out what that's about. Now, you don't say to someone, well, this is about you, not about me, but you can know that whenever someone is angry or upset, it's about them. Something has triggered them. They're working on something. Now, that's a hard one to grasp, but it's absolutely true. It's their reaction, it's their response, and they're the only ones that can do anything about it. But you can be kind. You can be kind in your heart and understand that they're having a moment. They're having a reaction. I watched this last weekend with my sweet loved ones that I was with this weekend. And one responded with, you never have loved me. And then the other one took a moment and responded to, I do love you and I want to be close to you. I want us to be close. And instantly the energy changed. There was silence. It's because he went into his heart and she got to go down to her heart and realize that what was going on was really about love, ultimately. So when we can go to the heart, we'll see different variations of what's going on. We'll see that what's taking place has a deep significance. Now, the reason I'm talking about it right now is that's a lot of what's happening right now with the Sun in Cancer. Cancers are extremely sensitive, Cancerian individuals. And they remember their hurt. It can last a long time for them if they don't, go in there and really clear it up for themselves. So I thought it might be fun to also go into the stones. This particular stone is called, excuse me, it's called howlite. I can't say it. Howlite. There we go. Now this stone has a clearing, and it has patience. It helps you attune. It helps you not be offended by situations. It's like it offers a space of that you can go into and clear. Because no matter what we're feeling and no matter what someone has said, it's been maybe hurtful. It's what's going on for them too. They're triggering as well. And so with the stone howlite, it's like you're able to patiently walk through it and realize that there's all kinds of different dimensions that things are taking place in. So I'd love to wear this today and send that energy out to all of you as this stone of self-awareness, that you go in and look at your own emotional experience, because there is a lot of emotions going on right now on the planet. Let's not forget also that if you have issues, particularly with a mother or mothering archetype, that this is a good time to work with that. Give gratitude, try to heal some of the pain, and go through the process. So it's about mother. Now, let's take it a little higher and let's talk about the cosmic mother. Let's talk about the goddess. It's also a time to go to nature. It's also a time to nurture yourself with nature, with food, with water. It's a water sign. It's a time to be in the ability to let yourself experience, I'm okay just the way I am. I'm living in this moment in a world that supports me and loves me. The words we say to ourselves, the way we nurture ourselves with our words is so powerful. So the other stone that I'm looking at is one called Luminite. And Numinite's really interesting. It's a magical personal stone. And it's the stone that it gave me the idea for this particular YouTube. And that was the being able to see things through the heart space instead of the head space. So let's pull some cards and see what the cards have to say. And we're going to specifically not get into some of the stories in this particular card, because there's some wonderful stories in tarot. In fact, tarot is one of the ways that the ancients have taught us about awareness, is through the stories in the tarot. So I'm going to pull some cards and see if they relate to what we're doing right now in this YouTube. Whoa! The High Priestess. She is so lovely. Here's what she brings in. The High Priestess brings in the ability to do ceremonial changes within yourself. That means writing and perhaps burning your writings, releasing them. It can mean going to a sacred site, particularly a place that has water, and partake of the water in that area. Get in the water. We did a lot of that in the last few days, where we took in the minerals and all of this, the foliage around the water, around the ponds that we were in. It was quite beautiful. But in so doing, we also got to celebrate and do a ceremony, blessing the water, blessing the air, blessing the fire of the sun, and blessing the earth. And that's what the High Priestess loves to do. That's what she does. She brings in that energy. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Very nurturing, by the way, of course. The next one. Oh, this has to do with swiftness. I'll show you this card. This is the Thoth deck that I'm using today. Swiftness has to do with, don't delay and ponder and take yourself into a deeper and deeper place with your mind. Instead, swiftly, because this is the mind, Mercury, swiftly move yourself out of that space as quickly as possible. Remember the saying, rejection or redirection. So redirect yourself as quickly as possible. That's what I say about that particular card. And we will pull one more. Oh, this is interesting. This is a cup. This is an emotional card. This deals with emotions, and it's luxury. It's okay to gift yourself with lovely things, with lovely food, lovely clothing, lovely jewelry, lovely treasures that mean a lot to you. This card represents filling yourself up with the luxuries of things that feel emotionally comforting and loving to you. Okay? So whatever that is, say you decided you wanted to make sure you had flowers in your house every day. Well, go get some flowers and line yourself with flowers. Beautiful. Okay. So we're once again going to bring up the option of loving yourself through your own personal sexuality, which is what this workshop is about next week. And I think you're going to find it extremely interesting, because it's not about sex. It's about your own personal sexuality and the brand in which it comes into according to your astrological chart. So those of you interested, please contact me so I can draw up a chart for you and have the chart ready there and available. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and thank you so much for showing up for this video, and I wish you lots of seeing your loved ones and your life with your heart. Thank you. Talk to you soon.